Chomp.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to UR Supreme Toys. We finally got our second wave of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimates in from Super7 this week. I wasn't expecting them, but at the same time, they're long overdue. So as you can see, we've got the Red Ranger here. No shipper box. So just like in Wave 1, they're in this lovely green electrified packaging with their corresponding symbol. We got Tyrannosaurus right here for Red Ranger. And of course the giant Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo on the back. That's about it. Nothing special. Let's go ahead and do a slip reveal. Okay. And here we have the Red Ranger. I don't know what it is, but those actor likenesses look wonky. First impressions, it's okay. Turn around the back. We've got the Red Ranger right there, as well as his bio.
Red Ranger. Jason Lee Scott was Zordon's choice to lead the Power Rangers. He is brave and bold like the Tyrannosaurus power he wields. Jason is able to hold his own against the likes of Goldar and the evil Green Ranger. He uses the Power Sword against the Putty Patrol and Rita Repulsa's monsters. When it was time for Jason to leave for the Geneva Peace Conference, his powers were transferred to Rocky DeSantos. After proving himself worthy of the Red Ranger mantle with his martial arts skills and willingness to help the most defenseless in their time of need.
Okay, so we got Rocky and Jason here. And Jason's face kind of looks like a human flabber from Beetleborgs. So let's go ahead and pop Jason out and see how he looks. Alright, here we got the Red Ranger. The paint on the helmet is really nice and glossy. It's pretty clean. It doesn't look bad. It's a nice head sculpt, I think. The paint around the neck and the diamonds on his chest are very, not clean. It's kind of really sloppy and unstraight. It's not as refined as, say, the first wave of figures. And he has these weird, marks in the mold around where the chest and the ab crunch meet. And it just, I don't know, it's just something off with the plastic. Yeah, the paint around the gloves up here is kind of sloppy and uneven. All around, this is not a $55 paint job. There's paint flecking off the joints. Mediocre at best. This is not the best quality that I would expect. There's even some black marking right there on the leg. First impressions are mediocre. Even the boots aren't lined very well. They're kind of sloppy. Paint apps on the Red Ranger here are just pretty much all around not good. They're not the worst, but at the price point, not good. I hope people understand that this is supposed to be a high-end collectible with a higher grade of quality at a higher price point. But it's starting to look like some of these licenses that Super7 has gotten really take a back seat to other licenses. There's also a lot of competition with Ranger action figures right now, and people have choices, especially when it comes to the original team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Every company on the planet seems to have done their own versions, and Super7, you're really, if I'm going to be honest, you're really taking a back seat to the majority of those companies as far as quality is concerned. He's pretty much the same as the Green Ranger from Wave 1 in all respects, except for, it's a different helmet. So let's take a look at articulation. He can look down, he can look up pretty well. There is no side to side, and of course he can turn his head. Shoulders come up about so high. He has a bicep cut, an elbow with a twist that hits right at the 90, swiveled and hinged wrists, The joints are only ever slightly stiff. There's nothing like noticeably stuck. The ab crunch is decent, and the bobble at the waist is okay. It's not the most dynamic, but it does do something, whereas many of the Ultimates who boasted a bobble at the waist wound up not having any bobble. He has his hips, which are on a swivel and hinge ball joint. The left leg will be somewhat hindered by the holster on the waist, but he does have a twist, a hinge, a thigh cut in the upper thigh. Be cautious, this one seems to be stuck on mine. You don't want to break them. Yeah, the thigh cut on him. There we go. Of course, he has the hinged knee with a twist, slight twist at the knee, but it also has a boot cut, and of course he has his hinged and rocker ankles. And all of these joints, I have to say, are pretty sturdy. Nothing's too tight, nothing's too loose. So paint apps, not too good. Sculpt, not too good. Articulation, it's okay. So let's take a look at his accessories. He comes with 2 different profiles. He comes with Rocky and Jason. Rocky is probably the better of the 2. I think it looks more like the actor. The paint apps aren't the best, especially around the back of the ears. The front of the face is okay, but definitely when you get to the ears, it gets really sloppy. They definitely just completely miss the hair and fleshed out the hair. Of course, Jason's is just, I don't remember him being so cheeky. This is almost like a caricature. As mentioned before in my other Ranger reviews, the face sculpts are more of a comic book look or an animated look if they had such, and they just don't look all that great, but they're okay. We got some actor likenesses if you want them. He has the little earring painted on his ear, but again, the paint is kind of wonky. He comes with 2 power swords. He has a toy-inspired power sword with the holes in the bottom and the all silver. This is more akin to the vintage 90s action figures, which I like. It looks pretty good. It's nicely sculpted. It's chunky and sculpted, and I like that. It's more of that vintage look. And of course, he has a more screen-accurate sword, which looks pretty decent. I think the paint apps are good on here. The sculpt is decent. This is not a bad accessory by any means. It's even got the little somewhat shallow Tyrannosaurus logo sculpted in on the hilt. He has his key for the Zord with the Tyrannosaurus head sculpted in. He has 4 blasters. He has his toy-inspired blaster, just like all the other Rangers will have. He has his more accurate screen version of his blaster, which is a really great accessory. I love that they actually tampoed Power Rangers on the side, and it's legible, especially considering the size of the gun. You have the folded up version, which would go into his holster on his side. And then his bladed dagger version, which is pretty great too. He has his tiny little morpher with the Tyrannosaurus coin sculpted out. And Power Rangers tampoed on. I like these little accessories, they're pretty fun. Now in the show, the Red Ranger got the Green Ranger's power armor and piloted the Dragon Zord on a few occasions. So they included some Tommy exclusive accessories. We have the gold armor for the Green Ranger, which is a pretty nice inclusion. His dragon dagger, which I advise to be cautious with when placing in the hands, as my Green Ranger's buttons broke off. And he comes with the holster that the Green Ranger uses for his dragon dagger. Interesting note is that the holster on the Green Ranger was opened, and this one shows that it was cut, but I don't know, they didn't cut all the way through. Oh, there it goes. This is intentionally cut so that the actual dragon dagger can fit into the holster. Now, I think that was a terrible idea to actually have to cut the plastic. The fact that they couldn't figure out a way to properly do this just annoys me, but it is consistent with the Green Ranger's holster. And of course he comes with a right and left banded arm with the Green Ranger's power bands. Red Ranger comes with 2 closed fists attached to him in the package. He comes with 2 Kung Fu looking hands, 2 other Kung Fu looking hands, and some more quoting fingers. But these would be the only hands that could effectively hold his accessories. Why they didn't include something more fitting to the accessories. They work for the sword, and I'm sure they work for the other accessories too, but I feel like he's missing hands to utilize for his accessories. I mean, this gun fits in there, but it's very loose. This gun doesn't fit in there at all. And what else is he going to use? This isn't going to fit. And he does have 2 other gripping hands on the banded arms. But even they're not the right size for the gun. They kind of dropped the ball on the hands for grips. I'm not seeing anything that's effectively going to hold his smaller pistol. Head pops off pretty good. Oh. Here's Rocky DeSantos. The head doesn't look too bad. I don't think there's a bad head sculpt. I definitely prefer him as far as the head sculpt's concerned. This one though, this one just looks a little bit out of scale with the body. Yeah, it's just that head's way too big for this body. With that head on, this figure looks bad. Alright, that's enough of that. So if you wanted to put the dragon armor on, you would have to remove his head and both arms. And the arms come out pretty easily. There's going to be a lot of paint fleck popping out on these joints. Of course, you would slide the armor over the body. Yeah, there we go. Pop on the Red Ranger's head. Just like with Tommy, these arms at the bicep cut are really kind of gummy when you go to pose the figure. They want to kind of bend kind of weird, so keep that in mind with those banded arms. Of course, the right arm. Now as far as this holster is concerned, there is a notch right here on the belt that this should plug into, and it does. It snugs on there, but as soon as you touch it, it's going to fall off pretty easily. So I would attach this after you pose him, but you can get that on. As mentioned, if you were to use this hand and you try to twist this dragon dagger into the fingers, you risk bending and breaking those buttons off. I did that with the Green Ranger. They're just really thin and flimsy, so be very cautious of that. Of course, this could go in the other holster if you wanted. That fits in very well. The hands are a bit difficult to get out. You know, I gotta say that this it's not a completely terrible action figure, but I gotta come back to the point that at the price point we're paying, this is just not a $55 figure. There are action figures you can get in the toy aisle who might not come with as many accessories or options, but the quality is going to be about the same, if not better, at a much cheaper price point. And at $55 plus tax plus shipping, depending on where you purchase the item, I just don't see the value in collecting this line for the Rangers, because I feel like the Rangers are just okay. And this goes back to my point about Super7 not being the best with their human characters or humanoid body types. They excel with monsters and machines, but I don't know, it's just when it comes down to the humans, they just aren't the best. Alright, let's bring in the other two Rangers. We've got the Green Ranger and the Yellow Ranger. They're scaled perfectly, I think. I will definitely be happier with this set of Rangers when I have all six. So the gold is different than the Green Ranger's gold on his vest, and I feel like this is the gold he should have had. Now this is just fine, but it's definitely more gold on the Red Ranger than it is on the Green Ranger. Now these things are somewhat modular between each other. The arms are swappable. The heads are swappable. So if you wanted to, you could have Jason be the Green Ranger, or if you felt inclined to do so, you could give him a Red Ranger arm, or you could swap helmets around. You be cautious with that when you go to swap heads. This is a terrible... I don't know why they chose to do this, but it makes it very difficult to swap heads as it wants to plop around. So you could give him a Red Ranger helmet if you wanted. Now the female body is not going to be compatible with the male bodies. One thing I do like is you can have the actor profile attached to the figure and they can hold their helmet, which is always fun. These guys are pretty basic. They're not the best. They're not the worst. But the price point really kills it. Really, it really does. The price point just really kills it. These are more of a $35 figure in my opinion. I do not see the justification for the $55 price tag. I know that they could argue the licensing costs, production costs for minimum quantity orders, and royalties, and all kinds of other things. But if that's the case, then they should have cut back on other things and improved on other things. A more substantially sculpted, painted, and detailed figure is much better value than a mediocre figure with a bunch of accessories. This has been an unboxing and review of Super7's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimates Red Ranger, and I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.